Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. First, we have to recognize that we are someone other than the body. This is the first step. If this step is not taken, subsequent steps are not possible. And it is initially theoretical, then this theory must be practiced so that it becomes our experience. So, how do we practice this first step in the spiritual evolution? The freedom from body identification, if it happens, what will be the symptoms of that experience? For example, I know this cloth I am not. So if this cloth becomes dirty, or if this cloth gets torn, I don't get influenced by that. In the same manner, after the body identification, two things are possible. Without these, two things are not possible. And those two things are possessions and relations. So if we are practicing freedom from body identification, what must happen is the burden of possession and relations is reduced. If this does not happen, suffer silently, suffer spiritually, and the suffering is complaint. We have done so much Bhagwan's, Bhagwan ka itna kiya. Who told you? Who told you? I have done so much of japa, nothing happened. One lady told me this. Swamiji, I have been doing japa for last so many years. My guru told me, do this japa. Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. I have been doing it for my whole life. Nothing happened. I said, do you know the most important thing? All happening will end. There is nothing going to happen. See? No. There is no power probably in that mantra. You give me one powerful mantra. Then they go for mantra shopping. See, friends. Therefore, like yesterday we have seen, don't get lost in diksha, mantra, and going to the temple and doing charity. It has no meaning. This I am not telling out of my hat, out of my experience. One example I will tell you. There are, like yesterday probably I told, there are many people who consider their Guru, Mahatma, as Bhagwan. Bhagwan Nityananda Baba, or Bhagwan Satya Sai Baba, or Shirdi Sai Baba. So many, all Bhagwans. They lived with that Bhagwan, not for a day or two, for years together. And see the quality of their life. Therefore, Adhyatma spirituality means our attention is brought back to us. Others are only the arrow marks. See, if on some post it is written Chicago, You don't go and sit there. What happened? See, Chicago, I have come. No, no, it is arrow mark. You have to go in that direction. See, friends. So all that is to be done is the process of learning is intensely followed. See, today we went for a walk with Pramod. I said, today we'll do one experiment. We normally take 2-3 rounds. I say, first round, we will not talk to ourselves. See? Have we done japa? Have we done meditation? We only complain. There are too many thoughts. Chitta vritti nirodha yoga. Don't think. Don't. Keep quiet. Keep quiet. Be very attentive. Like we go out of the house after putting on clothes. We don't go out of the house without putting on clothes. Exactly the same way. No thought comes out of the mind without the clothes of words. Thoughts cannot manifest without words. Instead of struggling, chitta vritti nirodha, no. Try this simple thing. Initially, you will be able to do it for 5 seconds, 10 seconds. Never mind. Start. Like a small child, when starts walking, he doesn't start running right away. Very slow. First of all, starts like a reptile, then like a lizard, then coming on the knees, slowly. So hereafter try this. And this can be practiced anywhere. And when you don't talk to yourself, you will not like to talk to others also. We talk to others because we are not satisfied with our individual disturbance. So we want to spread that disturbance to the society as a social service. So when you practice this, then you will discover new things. When we talk to ourselves, we have become somebody. As a nobody, you cannot talk. And that somebody is born after body identification. So we talk as a husband, wife, brother, father, mother, sister. We talk. Oh, my son is coming. He is coming. He has to do this thing. I hope I know he will bring a lot of clothes. I have to wash them. The children are whole. Keep on talking. Who is talking? The mother is talking. Till such time body identification is, this will continue. Therefore, real spiritual practice begins when we remain aware that body identification is reducing day by day. That is directly proportionate to the weakening of the impact of possessions and relations. See, friends. But how much we get involved in talking. First to ourselves, then to others. When we talk to others, we talk about our past. And in that discussion or talking about our past, only possessions and relations. Observe this. Living in this awareness is the real spiritual practice. All other things are, you met somebody gave you diksha and put something in your ear, and then you get confused. I don't know what you said. No. Don't get carried away by that. So, such a person, he has discovered now that he is someone other than the body. So, thereafter the experience will be, as this body I accept as mine, equally every body is mine. Because this body alone I am is a bondage. Body I am is not a bondage. See? Main aru mora tora taimaya. I and mine, you and yours, is the beginning of samsara. See, friends. And then we slowly discover that as we expand, to that extent, our individuality gets dissolved. Our ahankar, our ego, our I gets dissolved. Then you will understand the principle of homeopathy. You know the principle of homeopathy? People do all experiments on me because I am freely available guinea pig. Whether it is food or medicines, anything. And Indians are born doctors. The body, there something or the other will happen. And they tell with such a confidence, Swamiji, take this. There will be no side effects. Not even effect, forget about side effect. See, friends. So one homeopathy person, and most of the homeopathy people are those who had that latent desire in their heart to become a doctor, but they became an engineer by whatever reason it may be. So after they retire, they start studying the homeopathy books. And thereafter they go from home to, everybody is okay at home? Yes, why you have come? No, if there is somebody ill, you find out, they want a victim. I am freely available. So one person gave me one medicine and said, Swamiji, this is one dose, next dose I will give after 6 months. So I was, what, after 6 months? He said, yes, this is very high potency. I was afraid, no, what is going to happen? High potency means what? I explained. Then he explained me. We dilute that medicine to such an extent that the dilution is multi-million times. And by no chemical process, that medicine can be discovered in that drop. And they say that medicine is so diluted, it is broken at the atomic level. And therefore it becomes high potency. Now apply this principle in yourself. Now I, ego, is concentrated sulfuric acid. Go on diluting. That dilution is discovery of devotion in your heart. Now earlier, I means I. When Bhagavan says, Maya tatamidam sarvam jagadavyaktamurtina, I permeate the whole world. So there that I was not a Devaki Putra. Then I was not the Yashoda Nandan. Then I was not the Gopi Pranavallabha. See, friends, for such a master, Drishyam Shariram. Now his understanding is that his whole world is nothing but me alone. Now, thereafter we have seen 2-3 verses or mantras wherein this basic point was brought out, that the whole world is experienced as our own being. See, now there is nobody foreign to me. I am with everyone. Such masters move in this world without any hindrance, obsession, obstacles. See, friends. Now, after this is done, they come to the point in the 17th Sutra, Vitarka Atma Jnanam. Now they are no more lost in any doubt about their correct understanding, correct identity. Vitarka Atma Jnanam. See, Vitarka doesn't mean logic. Vitarka means going beyond logic. See? If you are retired and if you have to get your pension, I don't know here in India, you have to produce before the bank or the post your certificate that you are still alive. So you go to the bank and this is my certificate. This person is still alive. Okay. He doesn't look at you. That live person is not required. That dead paper is required. See, friends. So here the teacher is telling that Vitarka Atma Jnanam, there is no authority which can deny our being, including God. Nobody can deny our being. See, friends. You know, one of the difficulty what most of the seekers feel is this. Examples are given in the scriptures, like gold is in all the golden ornaments, easy to understand. Clay is in all the earthen pots, easy to understand. After some time I stopped giving this example. Clay in all the earthen pots. In one place I was giving this example and one elderly person was sitting there and listening. And he will in between participate. Okay, like that. Now you can't, others were getting disturbed, but I was enjoying his fun. So this example I gave. If we remove the clay from the clay pot, what remains? He said, clean clay pot. From that day onward, I said, these potties I should not talk. See, friends. So, Vitarka Atma Jnanam, when all doubts are gone, and therefore this doubtless experience doesn't demand anybody's authentication. Now this experience is of being. Normally we understand that consciousness is reality. No, consciousness is the expression of reality. And the technical term in English, when you use it, you will get confounded. Technical term is Chetana. And original thing is Chaitanya, Chaitanya Mahatma. So the Chaitanya is expressing through the body as Chetana. In 13th chapter, Bhagavan says, when he is telling the Kshetra, Kshetrajna Yogo Nama, in the Kshetra he tells, Sanghatas Chetana Dhruti. So what is the Kshetra? Chetana. Sukham Dukkham Sanghatas Chetana Dhruti. So Chetana is life. Life is not God. Life is the expression of God. Like light is not electricity. Light is the expression of electricity. But normally we mistake that only in the living beings only God is. And in the inert object there is no God. No. It's wrong understanding. Rather, it is incomplete understanding. Therefore, existence, if we accept, existence is being. Now this existence is applicable to everything. Man exists, woman exists, young exists, old exists, animals exist, plants exist, stones exist, rivers exist, noise exists, silence exists, joy exists. Existence is a common denominator. Therefore, Kathopanishad said, Asti iti upalabdhavyaha. The truth is recognized as is. See? That is the declaration. Therefore, is. Is. See? The more we become aware of this existence, vitarkam atmajnanam, then our doubt will be removed about the self-realization. Now up to here we have seen. Now the next step comes. Such a great yogi who has thus attained this, lokanandaha samadhi sukham. Now here the teacher says, now the delight of this yogi is abiding in his absolute self is lokanandaha samadhi sukham. See, loka means what? Lokyate iti lokaha. Every experience has minimum two components. One is the object of experience, second is the experiencer of the object. So loka means these two factors together. If there is no object of experience, there cannot be an experiencer of the object. If there is an experiencer but there is nothing to experience, then he cannot be experiencer. So these two factors are mutually dependent, mutually related. So lokanandaha samadhi sukham. This yogi is abiding simultaneously in the experiencer and the experienced. That is his experience. Therefore, yesterday I told you, if you remember, experience without an experiencer. Our being is our experience. But is this being an object? If it is not an object, what is the need of a subject? See, friends, lokanandaha samadhi sukham. This is samadhi. Now to practice this, one or two simple techniques try. One technique is, when you are sitting, listen to silence. When you practice it, you will discover that sounds are heard by the ears. Ears cannot hear the sounds. The ears cannot hear the silence. So when you start listening to the silence, you transcend the ears. But you remain. So when the object is silence, which doesn't exist, therefore there cannot be a listener. So listener and listened, when both have gone, what remains? Samadhi Sukham. Lokanandaha Samadhi Sukham. This is our essential nature. See? ग्राह्य ग्राहक संवित्ति सामान्य सर्वदेहिनाम योगिनाम तो विशेषोयम संबंधे सावधानता. The objective world and the subject interacting with the world is common for the average people and the wise people. Is common. But the difference is sambandhe yoginam savadhanata. But the wise people are extremely alert when they are interacting in the world. And what is that alertness? Number one, are we getting involved in any discussion unnecessarily? Is it necessary to talk? See, we keep on talking about our past. No need. When you have no interest about your past, you will never have interest about anybody's past. See, how true it is. We hear it 100 times, and yet this is the thing which we have to observe. For example, you take any gathering. In those gatherings, you see small groups are naturally formed. And then they have to talk something. They can't keep quiet. So they will start talking. One person will say, I was coming and there was, such an accident that one motorcycle came and dashed one, bicycle fellow. He fell. His hat and head broke. Now that story is over. But do you think others will keep quiet? Nothing. When I was coming, a car dashed a motorcycle. And that motorcycle fellow went round and round, and I really hit another car and died. Third one. One car happened to hit a big tanker. And the tanker collapsed. And petrol spilled. And there was a fire. Next one, nothing. I saw a tanker was hit by a train. See the grades. It started with the ordinary thing. Yours is nothing. My accident is superior than you. And the last, this is nothing. I have seen one aeroplane coming and dashing. What do we gain out of it? But we have to participate. We have to say something. This is how working by default. This is how we work by the mind. And this we have to remain consciously aware. Then are we getting unnecessarily involved? See, this typical thing I have seen, particularly among Westerners. When they sit for taking food, I was in Kaivalya Dham for some time. There in the kitchen, in the dining hall, they have made a clear board. After food, leave the hall And they will keep on eating slowly and talking. The food becomes so cold and all that. Anyway, they are accustomed to eat only cold-blooded animals. See? And keep on talking, and all kinds of things. The hands have become dried, everything is wait. People are waiting to clean that, but they don't stop. See, friends, talk minimum 8 hours of energy consumption through gross actions is equal to 1 hour of talking. 8 hours of talking is equal to 1 hour of intense thinking. See how much energy is lost. And then we get exhausted. Money nahi lagta. How it will, it is tired already. See, friends. Therefore, these are the techniques. Let there be experience, but no experiencer and experienced. The second technique you can try when you are in your room, absolute darkness. You can't see even your own hand, so much darkness. Then sit on your bed or chair wherever you want. Open your eyes. So, when eyes are open, seeing is happening, but there is nothing to see. Eyes cannot see darkness. Eyes can see only the light. So, seeing is happening because there is nothing to see. Seer is not born. So, seeing without the seer and the seen is Lokanandaha Samadhi Sukham. See, friends, therefore I have been again and again emphasizing, when you are playing with Kundalini awakening, don't get lost in those kinds of experiences. I saw light and I saw tabla and I saw violin. It is all tricks of the mind. Don't give any importance to anything. You have to go beyond it. Otherwise, you'll become a great Babaji and curing somebody had a problem and you say something and it is done, then you become a great Babaji. There was one Babaji, he prayed intensely, did tapasya before God. Oh God, please bless me. I want such a siddhi that even with a drop of blood of mine, somebody's cancer is cured. Bhagwan laughed and said, Tathastu. Once you have anything special in you, you want to exhibit it to the world. You can't keep quiet. See, you will see all these people who put, the lockets, etc. They should go inside now, but they will bring half outside, half inside. As if unknowingly, no, it is not unknowingly, it is knowingly. People must see that locket. Otherwise, what is the use of that? Such small little things we want to exhibit. Do you think the Siddhis will not like to exhibit? See? So, Bhagavan blessed him. And then Mahatmaji. So somebody said, Maharaji, I have got cancer, doctor gave up the hope, please do something. Beta, come here. And he took the needle, suck it. So his son, go. He went away. And his cancer was cured. Do you think he will keep quiet? Immediately, Facebook. There is such and such Mahatma, he has cured my cancer only by 1 drop of blood. Immediately, next day, outside his house, There was a huge crowd of few thousand people. Mahatma Ji, cancer hai. Mahatma Ji started looking at his blood. Oh my God, these people will suck away the whole blood. Again he prayed to the Lord, Lord, take it away. Don't get lost in this. It's the most terrible thing. I remember many years before, must be about 30, 40 years before. I was somewhere in India going by train. So I boarded the train. My host came to leave me. Then again he came running. He said, Swamiji, please get down, get down. I said, why? No, there is one Mahatma. He is very peculiar. He doesn't go to everybody's house. He comes only to my house. He is very strict and very whimsical type of person. But he has got all the siddhis. And he told me, call that boy. I want to give him many siddhis. I got many siddhis. I want to give it to somebody. Now my time is coming. So I find I should give it to him. So when my friend told me, come, I said, forget about, I don't want anything. These are the obstacles on the path of evolution. Don't meddle in God's creation. See, friends. Same thing, these people who do Reiki and energy and kind of thing, ultimately they suffer. Because they are unnecessarily meddling with God's creation. He knows what is required for whom. Don't get involved beyond requirement. In this manner, Lokananda Samadhi Sukham means now lead a life wherein experiencer is not born. So when you are sitting, be attentive. When you are sitting, you are not there. Sitting is happening, but the sitter is not there. And therefore, you will not do meditation. Then meditation will happen. Meditation without a meditator is abiding in God. When meditator is not there, there are no difficulties. So, too many thoughts come. Meditator is not there. Who will complain? Who will object? Let them come and go. वो है नहीं घर में. There is no meditator. So who will get disturbed? But our meditation is, oh, there should not be any thoughts. Why? Thoughts will come in the mind. They will not come in the nose. You can blow it out. See, friends. Lokanandaha samadhi. This is what he said. Yogi nam tu visheshoyam sambandhe savadhanata. They are very much living in this world, but they are alert that nowhere the doer or experiencer is born. That is what Bhagavan says in Bhagavad Gita. Yasya nahankruto bhavaha buddhi yasya nalipyate hatvapi sa iman lokan na hanti na nibadhyate. He who doesn't have the sense of doership, he does not have either sin or merit. Now to understand, take your day-to-day examples. Today is Ashadhi Ekadashi. In one place, I was invited for food. And what they do, they give me the food first. And they say, Swamiji, we are from the home, we will take later. That means you are from outside, you take first. Clear understanding. And thereafter, they will watch me how I am eating. You can see the experience when somebody is watching you and you are eating. It's such a comfortable experience. So, I took that chapati, took a dig in the dal, there was no dal. Then I took sabji, etc., made a nice bite. And when I was eating, my attention was not at the food, at them. And as the food was going nearer my mouth, their mouth started opening. Tadatmya, identification. So that Amma, whose mouth opened little wider than like a crocodile, then I called her, I said, Mama, please come. So she came. Because I am specially invited by Swamiji, superior than you. And then that bite I put in her mouth. I said, Mama, before I eat, I give it first to Bhagwan Krishna. Today you are my Bhagwan Krishna. I gave her. She ate. And after everything was over, it was not love, it was a sense of insecurity. So first give them and then I eat. So afterwards, when I was sitting, she came. Swamiji, what will happen? I said, what happened? I don't know. Do you know today is Ekadashi? Then you gave me rice, chapati, dal. This is not eaten on Ekadashi. Now what will happen? I said, nothing, you go to hell. Go to hell now. What can I do? Now be attentive. When I eat, there the eater is born. I have eaten. When the food goes inside the stomach, do we have this notion? I am digesting. And therefore, if there is a constipation, it is a sin. If there is a dysentery, it is a merit. Think. Yasya nahankruto bhavaha buddhi yasya na lipyate. He who lives in this world in such a manner that no experiencer is born. Therefore, there is nobody realized. There is realization. In that realization, there is nobody left. See? But all the people will go to the Mahatma, I want this, I want that, I want that, Ram, Ram, Ram. Nityananda Baba in Ganesh Puri, in one of his places I read, he was frustrated. He said, I am here for, in Hindi, I am here for giving the Hira. Hira means diamond. I am here to give Hira. But people come and ask for Hing. Asafoetida. See, nobody wants the truth. They are all interested. Various siddhis should come and people should come and do namaskar and then I bless. See? You see all these people, they have got a standard pose. Ashirvad. Nothing like that. Do not become a guru or a mahatma in your life if you want to progress spiritually. The day you become a guru or a mahatma, gone. All the doors of wisdom are closed. Bhagwan Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to say, never cease to be a seeker of truth. See, friends, it is such a catch. Therefore, this is the most simple spiritual practice. Then how do we achieve this according to Nisargadatta Maharaj? Very simple techniques. He used to say, use passive voice when you talk. Now we must know what is a passive voice and active voice, grammar forgotten. See? I do this job. In this sentence, I is important. Job is secondary. Now the same sentence in a passive voice. The job is done. Who does the job is not important. This is the way. See? But what the parents think, I have brought out my children, I did so much for them, then suffer. See, friends. Therefore, this samadhi sukham is straight away equal to absence of the I in your all experiences. Now, अथ ईदृशस्य अस्य योगिनः विभूति योगम दर्शयति. Hereafter, the vibhuti yoga of these yogis is told. In Bhagavad Gita, in the 10th and 11th chapter, two things are brought out. 10th chapter is Vibhuti Yoga and 11th chapter is Vishwarupa Darshan. In Vibhuti Yoga, it is the analytical approach. In the 11th chapter, the Vishwarupa Darshan, it is a synthetic approach. So in the 10th chapter, Bhagavan says, he gives about 72 examples. Among the trees, I am Ashwatha. Among the mountains, I am Himalayas. Among the rivers, I am Jannavi. Among the Pandavas, I am Dhananjaya. So when we see these categories, trees is one category. So when you are going so many trees and suddenly you see this peepal tree or the fig tree or Audumbra Vriksha, anyone, they all belong to the fig species family. The moment you see those who are Datta Bhaktas, when they see anywhere Audumbra Vriksha, they will do Namaskar. There are so many trees. So in this manner, these are the trainings given. When you are moving in this world, find out an excuse to remember God. There Bhagavan Krishna says, Etam vibhutim yogam cha mamayo vetti tattvataha saha avikampena yogena yujjate natra samshayaha. He who thus recognizes vibhuti and the yoga. Yoga is recognition of your divine being and vibhuti is recognition of this whole world as the manifestation of the God. He who does have both ways, subjective as well as objective, the similar experience, avikampena yujjate, he will have no more doubts whatsoever. That doubt-free experience is God realization. And in this God realization, there is nobody left. Ramdas Swami writes in one of his writings, by the grace of my Guru, I crossed the Bhava Nadi, the river of transmigration. And I was so happy, so I wanted to see how the river was and thank my Guru. So I looked behind and lo, there was neither the river nor the Guru. When I disappear, you, he, she, it, second person, third person also disappear. So, of such a great yogi, Shakti Sandhane Sharirotpatti. So, such a yogi, now his vibhutis are told. See? What is the first vibhuti? Shakti Sandhane. Because now this yogi is in tune with the divine will. Be very attentive. This is a very subtle catch. The great master do not desire anything. Neither good to somebody nor bad to somebody. They don't desire. But they are in tune with the divine will. Shakti Sandhana. Shakti is the Ichcha Shakti of the Lord. And therefore, O Lord, thy will be done. So, his Ichcha, God's desire, God's will is his will. So how can he ever fail? How simple it is. Whenever we go wrong is only because we are contrary to the divine will. Therefore the devotee says, Jehi vidhi rakhe Ram, tehi vidhi rahe. See friends, we only say, Te vile anante, taise chi rahave, chitti asudhyave, gad 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 gad. If you are in tune with the divine, you have no complaints. Any time we complain, we are not at peace with ourselves. We want the things to happen according to our choice. See, friends. Therefore, Shakti Sandhane, when he thus attains the oneness with the divine will, Sharirotpattihi, he is able to create any body, any number of times, anywhere. See, friend. Therefore, there are many Mahatmas, you must have seen, heard about it. They could appear simultaneously in so many places. They just will and they are there. In Shirdi Sai Baba's Pothi, one topic comes. There was one devotee who was staying there, Chipkesh. There are some people, they are Chipkesh. They don't move around, constantly hugging, holding onto the Babaji. They are called as the Prarabdha of the Babaji. Prarabdhasya bhogadeva kshaya. You have to go through the tragedies. So, Shirdi Sai Baba was tired of that fellow. He said, you go to Trambakeshwar in that mountain, Brahmagiri mountain, and do their sadhana. Go. No, I can't live without you. I will be with you all the time. See? We simply say, we are devoted to Guru. See, friend, we don't listen. We do whatever we want. There are two types of people associated with Mahatmas. One are called as the disciples, other are called as the devotees. Disciples are those who are ready to change. They come to the Guru for changing themselves. Devotees are those who make the Guru change. Therefore, the Mahatmas suffer because of the devotees. So when somebody introduces Swamiji, your devotee, say, don't tell me, I have no devotee. See, friends. So, Shakti Sandhane Sharirotpattihi. When he was so tired of this fellow, finally he said, if you go or else. He said, okay, I'll go. So he went there. And then after about a month or so, he saw Shirdi Sai Baba coming in front of him. He said, how come you are here? You are in Shirdi? He said, this is your wrong understanding. Where I am not. See, friends, once we are able to recognize this principle, discard the forms and merge in the formless. Nam Rupa is the Jagat. When you disappear, Guru also disappears. And what remains is the absolute, where the division of the Guru and the Shishya has evaporated. See, friends, so these various powers, Shakti Sandhane Sharirotpattihi, it is not a great deal for such great masters. They can just, by the will of the God, for the benefit of the seeker, these things happen. I'll tell you one of my experience. This happened in Bombay. I was in Dadar. One day, one mother and her young girl, maybe about 20 or so, they came to me. I never seen them. They never came for satsang. I don't know where from they dropped. They came. And afterwards, they said, they came with the fruits and all that. Gave the fruits. Swami, thank you very much. I said, who are you? I have never seen you in my life. You don't come for satsang also. No, that day you came to our house. Another shock. I came to your house. Never. No, you came. I said, then Then you told this girl had something happened to her face and her face became like Hanumanji, so swollen. And I was crying. So you told, don't worry, take her to Hinduja hospital, admit her, within 1 week she will be okay, go. And to get admission in the hospital, you require a big queue. He said, we went and one bed was free. We got it. And 1 week has passed, whatever treatment was done, she has become absolutely normal. So from the hospital, we are directly coming to you so that we can thank you for this. I said, okay, now go ahead. She went. Now that started creating problem for me. I don't do any yoga. I am a bhogi. How this can happen? It was troubling me. And one day I happened to meet a great Siddha Mahatma. He was a very funny kind of person. So he used to abuse and throw stones and all that. When I went, he was very loving, talking to me. So him I asked. I said, Maharajji, this is what has happened and I don't know anything. How this can happen? He gave me a satisfying answer. He told, you are sincere, therefore you are telling it. Other people will tell that they have done it. I said, okay, now tell me what it is. He said, it is God alone who helps. Nobody helps. And the God sees for which person what kind of name and form is suitable. He takes the name and the form of that person to help his devotee. See, friends, because Shakti Sandhane is God's will, not our efforts. And therefore, Sharirotpattihi. So he decides to whom to help and what way and what kind of Mahatma or form will help that particular person, that he decides, not we. If this is recognized, there cannot be any arrogance of curing others, helping others. See, friends, therefore, a devotee has totally surrendered at the feet of the Lord. What is achieved through this yoga, the same thing is achieved through devotion. A devotee doesn't do yoga. Sant Gyaneshwar was a yogi and Namdev Maharaj was a devotee. In the summer months, they were coming or going to Pandharpur. On the way, it was very hot, and they went to near a well for water. So, looking deep down, water was there. Now, how to take it out? Sant Gyaneshwar, because he was a yogi, he straight away inside, had his thirst drenched and came up. He said, now what will you do? He said, why should I worry? My Panduranga, if he wants, he will give me water. And he sat there and Panduranga Hari, Vittal Hari, Vittal Hari. And the water started rising and came to his mouth. See? Shakti Sandhane Sharirotpatti. The devotee has surrendered himself to the will of the God. See, friends. Therefore, if we are following the path of yoga, devotion should not be condemned. Devotion is important. Devotion helps us dissolving our ego. Otherwise, little bit of things happen and we get carried away by that. Okay, Maharaj. Now, thereafter, in the 20th Sutra, Bhuta Sandhana Bhuta Pruthakva Vishwa Sanghattaha. Now, Bhuta, all the various components, they can be joined together and also they can be separated together, and in this manner one can go beyond the limitations of time, space and object. See, three things. You must have seen many Mahatmas, they just out of nothing, they will bring out something and give. Because they have that siddhis by which they can admix the various five great elements, and out of them anything they will, that can be created. There was one Swami Vishuddhananda, he was called as the Gandhi Swami in Varanasi. He had done the Surya Vidya. He went to Tibet and he did that Surya Vidya. And he had that siddhi that he can take any flower, any object and create any smell that you desire. So suppose people go and give him a, let us say, an ordinary flower, and he said, "Oh, thank you very much, you gave me the rose." He said, "No, Maharaj, I gave you this flower." "No, no, it is rose, you see." Immediately it has become rose. He was a Gandhi Swami. He had that siddhi. Be attentive. Once Anandamayi Ma happened to go to meet him. And to show Anandamayi Ma the siddhis, all arrangements were made. Anandamayi Ma was the worse than the worst. She was never living in this world. Always in divine intoxication. When she used to go sometime for taking bath in the Ganges, she used to tell the devotees, "Please hold me." Otherwise she used to get dissolved in the Ganges. When many Mahatmas will do namaskar to her feet, their hand will go through the feet onto the floor. She was that great master. So this Swamiji wanted to show. So she said, people are already lost in the Maya. Why do you fix them in super Maya? It's okay. And toward the end of his life, ultimately he went to her and stayed with her till death. These are dangerous things. One should not get lost. So, Bhuta Sandhana, Bhut Pruthaktva, Vishwa Sangatta. So, there are three types of siddhi: synthesis, creating the objects, disintegrating all the things, and also going beyond the limitation of time, space and object. Therefore, such masters can tell, don't go that direction, okay? Because they have already seen what is going to happen. When somebody comes, they tell his name, fame, everything about him. It is not a great thing and it should not be entertained. These are all the catch. These are the byproducts. Like we keep the cow for the milk, not for the cow dung. Cow dung will anyway come free. Also the urine. One day I was going somewhere in Maharashtra probably, and there was one old lady in the car. That is the reason I don't carry anybody other than the person driving me in the car. Otherwise, all kinds of problems come. First of all, they keep on caw talking. So this old lady had no choice because her son was driving, so I had no choice. And when we are going somewhere, for some reason we have to stop. So we stopped. And I came out and seeing around. There was one cow farm, cattle farm. So I said, okay, let me go and take it, around and come back till he changes the tire. This old lady, "Oh, Swamiji, wait. She saw that cattle farm, I am going." One nice 25 rupees Bisleri bottle she emptied on the road. And she took it. "Swamiji, please help me in getting the Gomutra." I said, now the whole way that dirty smell will keep on coming. She wanted to collect that cow urine. I said, now how to stop this lady? I said, "Mama, these are not our Indian cows, they are foreign cows." Really, I say, see, these reptiles, they are not like, they don't have the hump. And our cows are not like this, as if they have got, leukoderma here and there. Oh, really? They are not Indian cows? Yes. Then they give urine. They don't give gomutra. Oh, stop it. So we keep the cow for milk, urine comes free. Spiritual evolution is the only purpose of our life. Don't get carried away by anything. Our Akhandanji Maharaj used to say something very, very good. Great Mahatmas are those who have got many followers. Most Vairagi, dispassionate Mahatmas are those who have got many ashrams. Dispassion. We get caught up in this world. Never get caught up in this world. So, they can bring the things past, present, future together, etc. Yada tu mita siddhi anabhilashan vishwatma pratham ichchati tada aste yoginaha. When this yogi is now no more interested in these little powers of this world, then what happens? Shuddha vidya udayan chakreshatva siddhi. Chakresha. There are 7 chakras. Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipur, Anahata, Vishuddha, Agya and Sahasrara. 7 of them. So, Chakresha Siddhi. Chakresha means the one who is the Isha, the controller, the ultimate of all the chakras. See? Chakresha Siddhi is he who doesn't want anything pertaining to this relative world. Only abidance in the Absolute. As a result of this, he says, Shuddha Vidya Udayaha. Now you go beyond the relative world. Shuddha Vidya is going beyond the cause and effect. Remaining in cause and effect is the samsara. Cause and effect is an illusion. Don't give too much importance to this cause and effect. See, that is why I don't entertain question answers. Question answers are nothing but cause and effect. But why those Mahatmas do like that? You go and ask them. One person asked me in Rishikesh, we were having satsang, he asked me, Swamiji, I am always thinking, as we dream, etc., do the dogs dream? So I showed I am angry. I said, what do you think? Am I a dog or what? You are asking me a question, whether dogs dream or not. Ask the dog, not me. Now what is the purpose of these inquiry? See, friends, when you want to know nothing, then you have known yourself. Therefore, drop these 2 words from your vocabulary. Why and how. When you drop this word, you have no question to ask. But for that we will ask a question. Why? Why should we drop? And then how should we drop? The whole life is whiling away by howling at the life. There is no meaning in it. ऐसे ही होता है. Get out of it. Shuddha Vidya Udayat Chakreshatva Siddhi. So when we thus go beyond all these, then Chakreshatva Siddhi, we are beyond the relative world. Chakreshatva Siddhi means Mooladhara Chakra, Dehat Prabha, body identification, that is conquered. Swadhisthana Chakra means desires, that is conquered, no desires. Manipur Chakra means the catch of greed, that is conquered. Then Anahat Chakra, the catch of the subject object, that is conquered. We come to the absolute subject without the object. Then this subject without the object, the Vishuddha Chakra, is not only one, but everywhere it is the same reality. We come to the Agya Chakra. This is still the manifestation. And when we transcend the manifestation, we cross the Sahasrar, Chakresha Siddhi. This is that. Therefore, living in the lower three chakras is samsara. Coming in the Anahat Chakra is the seeker. Coming in the Vishuddha Chakra is the Atma Khyati. Coming to the Agya Chakra is Aham Brahmasmi. And going beyond the Sahasrara is going beyond the manifest world. This is how it happens. And Yada tu swatma ramatam eva ichhati tada asya. Now such a master, he is now reveling in his own self. For him the world doesn't exist. See? Now for such a master, what happens? Maharhadhanusandhanat mantra viryanubhavaha. So he is now merged in the great lake of infinite bliss. See? He has gone to the ultimate cause. Ultimate cause is bliss. Anusandhanat, Maharada Anusandhanat, then Mantra Viryanubhavaha. He is now the source of all the virya, the power, the Shakti for anything in this world. And the powers and Shaktis are presented to the world through the words. And those words are called as the mantra. See. In Panchadashi, Vidyaranya Swami writes, Dirgham pranamam ucharya manorajyam viliyate. In the old age where we are all at this age, we are not disturbed by worldly things much. Now here we are disturbed because of our own mind. The mind is constantly agitated. And for those who do not want us, relations and possessions, we keep on worrying about them. And we become frustrated. So, this is called as manorajya, habitual thinking. Habitual thinking can be conquered by dirgham pranama ucharya. When you sit in your place, dirgha, long pranava onkara, ucharya chanting. When you are really disturbed, just go to your room and chant long few times. Nistaranga samudravat, like the ocean without waves. The ocean has all the potentiality to throw out waves. But all the waves are quietened. In the same manner, this mind is not sleeping. The mind is extremely alert, vigilant, but quiet. Maharadhanusandhanad mantra virya. Such masters who are thus abiding in peace 24/7, every word that they chant is a mantra. Any word they say, it happens. Because the words doesn't come from the lips. Our words come from the lips. Their words come directly from the consciousness. It is something like, when I sign a paper, zero value. But when the Prime Minister signs a paper, all the value. Because in Prime Minister, all the Shaktis are concentrated, united. This great master is now in tune with the ultimate truth. And therefore, his mind is always at peace under all conditions. Therefore, whatever they say, that is a mantra. See? I read in some Mahatma's life story. There was one great Mahatma in Chirawa, near Pilani in Rajasthan. I heard about him, so I wanted to go and take darshan of his samadhi. He is no more. His samadhi is there. And he was called by a very peculiar name, Dede Baba. What is it, Dede Baba? So I went there. Then I heard about his whole story. He told G.D. Birla, you go to the east, don't come back. You will rule the world. So G.D. Birla started going. On the way he came across a golden snake, and the top of his head there was a silver bird sitting. So he said, why, this is a funny thing I am experiencing. So he came back. Baba, I am seeing that. You fool, why did you come back? Go now, at least you will rule India. Go. See, he, still today, nobody can beat that family. And his name became Dede because his name was actually Vishnu Ganesh Shastri. Very well read, very wise man, grahastha, everything. So he was doing this Devi Upasana. And when he closed himself in a room, he said, don't open the door till I come out. So it happened for days together. People thought whether he is living or dead. And fortunately they opened the door. That very time he was having the vision of Devi. So, having the vision of Devi and opening the door simultaneously, so the Devi disappeared. So that time he wanted to say they, and she disappeared. And that word became fixed in his mouth. They, like that. It became such a powerful mantra. Because it is not coming from the lips. Therefore, the Maharada Anusandhanat mantra viryanubhavaha. So all the powers of the mantra, they are coming from this conscious reality. Therefore, the type of mantra chanting most of the people do is incomplete. It is not correct way of mantra chanting. The second chapter of this Shiva Sutra tells about the mantra. What is the meaning of mantra, how it should be chanted, what should be the purpose and everything. That we will leave for the next session. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।